Before you turn in your app, you will still need to do the final reflection page in your journal. This page is very important because we will look at these questions when we grade your project. Even if you think that you already answered the questions, please watch this video to make sure that you understood what the questions were asking and you wrote good answers. There are 5 questions. I will explain what they mean and show example answers for my example app. For my example project, I added a cupcake sprite to my Grab the Grapes game. If you touch the cupcake, you lose 10 points. I also added a start over button that will make your score go back to 0 so you can start over. The first question is asking, what feature did you add to your app? A feature is something that your app can do. So I will write, I added another image sprite that makes you lose points, and I added a restart button that makes your score go back to 0. Because I am trying to explain features, something new the app can do, I am explaining what these things do, the new things that I added. If I just said I added another sprite and a button, that would not help the person who was grading it understand what those things could do. A good answer here says what you added and what it does. Help us understand how your app does different things than it did before. The next question says, what variables did your app use? We talked a lot about variables in this unit. Variables are places in the app's memory that have names. You probably see them in orange blocks. A good answer to this question will not just explain what the variables are called, it will explain what they do and how they work. So, I have a variable in my game called score. To do a good job answering this question, I will not just write score. I will say my app has a variable called score. It starts out at 0 and it goes up by 1 every time the user taps the grapes. It goes down by 10 if they tap the cupcake, and it goes back to 0 if they press the start over button. By giving a nice long answer, I am clearly showing the person who is grading that I understand what the variables do and why I used them. If your app has more than one variable, then you need to write an answer like that for all your variables. The next question asks, did you create any original visuals, like buttons or background images? And if you did, what did you make? I did not actually make anything for this game. I found a picture of a cupcake on the internet, and I used it. This question is asking me if I made anything. So maybe the best answer is no, I did not make anything, but I found a picture of a cupcake on the internet. It would also be okay to just say no. If I did make my own cupcake picture, then I should explain that here. But I did not, so my answer is no. Then the next two questions are about changes you made to your app. The first one asks you, how did you change your app after you had users try it? You had some people give you some feedback, and you thought about how to make changes to your app. Hopefully, you made some of those changes, and now you can explain them here. For my app, after I had users try it, they told me that the words were hard to see, so I made them bigger. Where it says, how did you change your app? I will write, I made the score text and the start over button bigger. The next question asks me why I made those changes. It is really important that I do a good job explaining how there is a connection between what people told me and what I did. I did not make changes just because I wanted to. I made changes because other people told me ways my app could be better. So I will write something like, because users told me the text was too small and hard to read. I am clearly showing that there is a connection between what someone told me when they tried my app and the choices that I made. And that is all. 5 questions. Not too hard. Just remember to work slowly, write good answers, and ask for help if you need it. We want you to do your best, and we want you to help us understand the work that you did. So write carefully.